All right. Jordan White should be able to go. You know, he took a rep actually last week game, so he should be back at tight end, which is good. And we're going to need that because, you know, obviously Sambo's out, Schlager's still out, Kevin Davis had the asteroids or whatever taken out of his shoulder, so he should be back in about 2 weeks. And then Kevon Cartwright, we're going to hold this week. He wasn't able to practice today, and see if we can't get him back. I don't know the time frame on that. It's really becomes a week-to-week decision on that. And look, like I said, that's my call. I'm not going to put a guy out there that's not, you know, ready to go. Life's too short, man. So.
Did he fight you on it?
You know, it's just we weren't ready. The doctors felt, you know, I think the best thing for us is to take some time and try to get it fully healed, rather than keep kind of, you know what I'm saying, keep kind of trying to push it along. And you know what, he'll do everything he can, obviously, to get back.
What, just as, I guess, the importance of this game sunk in yet?
You know,
I know it's only the second game, but it's a big one.
Yeah, you really start to feel like that a little bit more on a perfect Thursday. You know, Wednesday's still really an install, third down in red area, so there's still a lot of, you know, the mental aspect of getting the plans set. And really where you start to feel it a little bit more is on Thursdays, you know, when we hit that tempoed practice. And you know, I think our guys are pretty workmanlike. You know, as a coach, you'd always like practice to go perfect, but I think the sense of urgency's there, and we'll see what happens.
I mean, this is a chance to really make the program relevant, as you've talked about. You win this game on ESPN.
No, I think, you know, it's great, and the opportunity for, you know, a national television audience to see Colorado State University and those Ram helmets, and you know, all the things that come along with that, I think is fantastic. And you know, I know our guys will go in there and be ready to play. And like I say, this is a huge, huge game because it's our next game.
I know you hope for carryover from last week's win, but was it the right kind of carryover?
Oh, sure. You know, I mean, the guys, I think the thing that was good is I really felt that they studied, you know, the film, saw the good things they did, and they did a lot of good things in that game. And you know, and then there were some mistakes, and they corrected them, and you know, that's what you hope happens on a, you know, a film study after a game.
Mm-hmm. Tim Skipper was talking about it when they came in to talk to his linebackers about game film. Max had already watched 5 games.
Oh yeah,
that's him, or is that all of your linebackers really?
It's really a lot of guys in this program. They're starting to understand, and look, guys, it's also part of the ability of having those iPads as playbooks, where, you know, if you are killing some time, maybe rather than playing, you know, whatever video game it is, you know, they can actually play video games on their iPad and look at something that, you know, is relevant to the game of football. So, you know, I think that has a lot to do with that. And I tell you what, we're just really fortunate, you know, that our beef club and our starting lineup guys and touchdown club kind of stepped up to, you know, help us get into the now.
I know you say Pac-Man.
No.
Yeah.
I was going to say Frogger.
You could have said asteroids.
I was a big Frogger.
Candy Crush.
that little bugger, you know, he'd always get run over by those darn cars. And then when he'd jump on the log down the river, I'll tell you what.
That's a good one.
D. Hart, first on the scene last week. Is this his chance for national exposure, national confirmation?
No, I think it is, and I know he's obviously excited for the opportunity, and you know, for a lot of people to see him, you know, that remember him, you know, from you know, his high school days and some of the things he did at Alabama. But you know, the thing I love about D is there's no arena that's too big. You know, I mean, some guys, you go into games and you worry that the game's too big, just because they haven't been in anything like that. In D's case, you know, obviously he's got some. We've been in, I guess, state championship games and playoff games at the highest level in the state of Florida, and obviously been in some pretty big ball games where he came from. So he's just excited to go out and play, and you know, I think we got a lot of guys that way on that team.
haven't been able to ask you a lot, but Deontay Gaines, that first return, you were probably like, what are you doing? And then the next two, you're like, okay, keep it up.
You know, it's like I say, whenever you play young guys, there's going to be a learning moment.
Yeah.
And you know, it's one of the great teachers I had. When I would screw up, he used to call it a teachable moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing is he learned from it. And then, you know, I think kind of, there again, gave us a little energy, you know, on those two returns, and then flipped the field a little bit for us from a field position standpoint.
So what you're saying, he's ahead of the curve. He just made his mistake right off the bat, learned from it.
That's it. And as we talked, you know, hey, you know, the instinct sometimes might be, you know, hey, that guy isn't ready, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? He's ready.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's going to make a lot of plays for us in the future here for a long time to come.
Was there a temptation to not put him back the second time after the first one?
Never blinked, actually. And I'm kind of one of those guys that, you know what, you put your arm around him and you get an opportunity to, you know, teach it, and then, you know, you hope it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
But, and in this case, it didn't. So.
I know your defensive system, your linebackers should have a lot of tackles, and they did last week. But they're not a product of your system, are they? They're a group that makes your system better.
You know, as we said going in, I thought the strength of our football team was the depth and the ability at our linebacker positions, and I think they really stepped up and made the play. I tell you what I was impressed is how fast they played the game at. Mm-hmm. And really what that tells you is, and it probably goes back to what you said about Max watching 5 games. Mm-hmm. You know, the more comfortable you are from the preparation standpoint, the faster you play, and those guys played fast.
Coach, on that note, just one more about Max. Do you feel like obviously he was a leader last year, but do you feel like he's kind of taken that up a notch this year without Shaq Barrett?
No doubt about it. And you know, everybody has a lot of respect for Max because of the work that he puts in, the time he puts in, and they know when he's talking that he knows what he's talking about, you know, and so, you know, there's some guys in this deal that you know, over the years that, you know, are pretty good at flapping their gums, but you know what, they don't know what the heck they're talking about. In Max's case, he knows what he's talking about.
One question about the fans. Coach has sent out a lot of emails about trying to get fans down there. Did you guys notice like the energy and how did it affect like the players on the field?
You know, it was interesting because even the guys were talking about that you know, that group, especially those students, you know, down in that end zone, and then our other fans, we felt like in some ways it was a home game. You know, the energy that they had, and really, our guys really appreciate it. And you could tell when we came out from the tunnel, and they went straight to our fans. And then, you know, when at the end of the game, you know, they went right to our crowd that was still there and still energized. And, you know, I can't tell you how important that is and how great it made all of us feel.
After the CU fans went home, right?
Well, I didn't notice that. I heard our fans though.
Yeah,
Asked you this before, but their last 90 home games, they won 86.
Yeah.
Is this a daunting task? Because
It is. I mean, you know, somebody told me at media days, and you guys might remember, what was it's been like 16 years since anybody on our side of the ledger or something.
Anybody in the current Mountain Division
has ever
period.
beaten them, right?
Yeah.
Ever in the history of ball,
Right. Yeah.
So I guess, you know, that doesn't bode too well for the Rams. But,
Since Red Grange.
yeah, but, you know, I look at what they have done, you know, and I think about growing up and when they're in the Big Sky and even coaching against them in the Big Sky Conference, and, you know, what they have done as a program, as a community, you know, really my hat's off to them. They've done an outstanding job, and you know, it's also helped their enrollment in their school has gone up drastically, you know, because of that notoriety that they've done, and like I said, you know, until somebody knocks them off, and you know, they'll be the king of the mountain.
there are stadiums on campus.
Yeah.
I didn't say that, Terry. What are you trying to get me in trouble here? Or what?
Sorry.
All right,